What's up, people? Hello and welcome back to the channel. This week we focus on a player who's established himself as one of the best midfielders of our time. He's flourished and then some under the tutelage of legend Pep Guardiola and has made a habit of wrecking opposition dreams and putting challengers to the sword. His brilliance on the ball combined with his 360-degree X-ray vision makes him a scourge to all but those in sky blue. You know him as KDB, but City fans only know him as Hero. That's right, it's Kevin De Bruyne in the spotlight of the week. KDB got things started off professionally with Genk in 2005 and worked his way up through the youth ranks. Just 3 years later, at the ripe age of 17, he was in the first team training. His debut came in May of 2009, and over the following months, he would become an integral part of the squad. 5 goals and 16 assists in the following season saw Genk crowned champions of Belgium for the 3rd time. The kid was just getting started when, as they do, Chelsea came swooping in on deadline day of the winter window 2012. He pinned a 5-year deal with the Blues, but would be loaned back to Genk for the remainder of the season, where he racked up 8 goals in 28 games. Another loan was on the cards again, as Chelsea are known to do, and KDB was off to Werder Bremen in the Bundasliga for the following season. He would become an important member of Bremen's survival charge that season, eventually scoring the goal that secured safety and their place in Bundesliga the next year. Enter Jose Mourinho at Chelsea. With KDB set for another loan to Germany, the special one told the powers that be that Kevin De Bruyne was staying. According to Jose himself, Kevin De Bruyne was in the starting lineup for the first game, but didn't play the next in the Super Cup against Bayern. He also apparently did not get enough minutes in the game versus Manchester United, and he wanted to leave the next day. Mourinho goes on to say that he was young, perhaps impulsive, but as we can all see, made a good choice in the end. Before the window was done, Kevin De Bruyne was sold to Wolfsburg after just 9 appearances for the London club. That first season, the Belgian was simply finding his feet in the Bundesliga, but as is the theme of the video, he had become an important member of the squad already, not to mention 2 winners in the final 2 matches of the 13-14 season. As you might guess, I watched a number of highlights in preparation for this video, and Kevin De Bruyne's first goal of the 14-15 campaign came against Lille in the Europa League. My word, what a thunderbolt of a volley from outside the box that one was. January 30th that season saw Bayern fall prey to the rising star as Wolfsburg beat the Bavarian Giants 4-1 at home with 2 goals from the man himself. And of course, against his former club Werder Bremen, he would assist 3 goals in a 5-3 thriller. Quarterfinals of Europa League, 2nd place in the Bundesliga, and champions of the Pokal, KDB had 16 goals and 27 assists in all competitions, as he was named Germany's Footballer of the Year. Of all the strikers the Maestro could have assisted to beat Bayern the following season in the Super Cup, I never would have guessed that it would be old Nicholas Bentner to get the winner. KDB then, of course, scored in the next game, absolutely on fire in August 2015. And we all know who came calling then. Coming in as the 2nd most expensive man in English history at the time, Manchester City announced the signing of the superstar on August 30th, 2015. Sergio Aguero would go off injured in the 25th minute of the first fixture versus Crystal Palace that season, and the Belgian would make his debut. The first of so many goals came just a week later versus the West Hammers in a 2-0 victory. Already lighting it up, he made the shortlist for the Ballon d'Or that season because, of course he did. Important performances and goals would follow, not least of all for netting both home and away to defeat PSG and take Man City to its first ever Champions League semi-final. The season finished with a series of almosts, but Kevin De Bruyne was already a stalwart in the budding monster that Pep was creating. In fact, after a goal and an assist in the 2-1 win over United and the 4-0 where he owned Bournemouth the next season, Pep was quoted as saying, "I think he's a special, outstanding player. He sees absolutely everything." The momentum was continuing to build for Kevin De Bruyne and for Manchester City, as well as they competed on all fronts that season. The 17-18 season dawned, and it would be a year of massive scorelines and dominant performances from the Belgian. Assists and goals and assists meant that by January 2018, KDB had pinned a new deal with the club until 2023. To celebrate, he scored the winner the next day to take the Citizens to the League Cup final, which they would, of course, win in a demolition of Arsenal 3-0 to lift Pep's first trophy at Man City. More destruction of the minnows around them, and they became centurions as De Bruyne assisted 16 times that year. He was so class, they actually invented an award to give him, the Playmaker of the Year. The injury-ridden season that was 18-19 saw his time limited, but City crowned champions, and it was a first domestic treble for them off the back of De Bruyne's substitute appearance in the FA Cup final. Despite not starting, he still stole the show, and City went on to demolish Watford 6-0 in an absolute thrashing. They were just getting warmed up too. The next season for De Bruyne saw 2 goals of the month, a record-tying 20 assists with Mr. Thierry Henry in one season, another Playmaker of the Season award, Premier League Player of the Season, PFA Team, and PFA Player of the Year. Absolutely ridiculous. The 2021 season saw a new deal, despite De Bruyne missing the penalty versus champions Liverpool in a 1-1 draw. But of course, he would get the assist in the game winner of another League Cup final. It was Paris in the Champions League semi-final that season, and he scored the winner to take them to their first ever final. One Antonio Rudiger clash later, and his face was broken as City lost to Chelsea and Kai the Menace Havertz. Just gross. At this point, all the awards and the players of the season stuff is getting kind of old. The man's been an absolute machine at the club ever since he's been there. April 26th, 2022, KDB kicked off one of the wildest Champions League semifinals of all time with a 93rd second goal in the 4-3 win over Real Madrid. Not long after, he would net 4 times against Wolves in just 24 minutes, with commentators saying it was one of the best footballing displays in Premier League history. And yeah, player of the season, champions, all that jazz. KDB, of course, has had his forays on the international stage as well, being part of what many call Belgium's golden age. He worked his way into the starting 11 during qualification for the 2014 World Cup, and would, as always, become an integral member by the time the tournament itself rolled around. Although the Americans were focused on other villains that day, KDB did net the winner just into overtime against Tim Howard. Just old Timmy Howard, because the defense did not bother to show up that day, as we all remember. I'm not bitter or anything. His contributions would lead to the semis of the 2016 Euros. He would also score the winner against Brazil in the 2018 World Cup to go to the semifinals once again. Belgium's prowess at the time was down to a number of strong players, but De Bruyne was always at the top of the list, because that's where he lives, and international duty is no different. His performances were strong again in the 2020 Euros, but would not be enough to see Belgium win. And of course, Qatar was one all of Belgium would rather just forget, so I think we'll just do the same. But last year really was Manchester City's year. Kevin De Bruyne played with a torn hamstring for most of it and was still the baddest man around. His partnership with Haaland over the course of the season was ridiculous. And the Belgian must have a thing for playing on my birthday, because once again on April 26th last year, he comes out with an incredible performance. I was inebriated and sad, but the first goal he scored was magnificent. It just was. Haaland knocks it down for him, and he takes on the entire back line to curl it around Ramsdale from 25 yards out, just oozing class. In both games actually last year, he had his way with the Arsenal, and it's why he drives me absolutely insane. And the goal against Real Madrid in the semi-final of the Champions League, the absolute thunderbolt of an ice beam of a fire blast. This guy was absolutely incredible last year. Deserves all the plaudits, all the medals and trophies and all of it, everything they give him. Absolutely has already cemented himself as one of the best Premier League players of all time. And of course, he's not done yet, City fans. You can hear the praise echoing through the empty hat as he came on the other day against Huddersfield, and immediately they look an entirely different side, because of course they do. The rest of the league better watch the F out, because the man is back. City's struggles this season are pretty much all down to his absence necessitating change. Were he healthy, the fact that Gundo and Mahrez are gone would not matter a single jot. His favorite target is back, and he's got a new speedster to hit as well. Unfortunately, I have a sinking feeling KDB is about to run roughshod over literally everyone. After so long out, you just know he's chomping at the bit, too. As an Arsenal fan, I'm terrified. As a football fan, I'm delighted to see one of the greats at it again. Well, that's it for this week, people. KDB knows all about the spotlight he's been hogging for years now. And if you're a fan, go ahead and get the likes up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Of course, thanks for being here. We are on our way to 200 subscribers. If you're enjoying the series, smash the notification bell as well. And as always, thanks for listening, and you will see me next time.